Sacha Baron Cohen just received an International Leadership Award at the Anti-Defamation League and gave an amazing speech where he highlighted the corrosive effect that social media has in amplifying lies, fake news, and conspiracy theories. I want to show you a couple little bits from the speech, which you should definitely watch in its entirety. Here he is on sort of laying out the threats.
Today, around the world, demagogues appeal to our worst instincts. Conspiracy theories, once confined to the fringe, are going mainstream. It's as if the age of reason, the era of evidential argument is ending, and now knowledge is increasingly delegitimized and scientific consensus is dismissed. Democracy, which depends on shared truths, is in retreat, and autocracy, which depends on shared lies, is on the march. Hate crimes are surging, as are murderous attacks on religious and ethnic minorities. Now, what do all these dangerous trends have in common? I'm just a comedian and an actor, I'm not a scholar, but one thing is pretty clear to me. All this hate and violence is being facilitated by a handful of internet companies that amount to the greatest propaganda machine in history.
He specifically lays out the Silicon Six. Six really powerful people that influence what billions of people see. I know that he does political work, and you can't watch, Who is America without knowing that he obviously understands quite a bit about what's going on in our politics. But I was pretty shocked by that speech. It showed a great understanding of the threat, both inside of the US and internationally, that we're facing from social media and how it's been co-opted by some of the worst people operating.
Right, and he also speaks to like the algorithms that promote stuff, and it's stuff that is, whether you've thought about it or not, you may have felt it, and you may have played into it over time, and it might have played you over time, which is, he says it's easier to spread lies than it is to spread truths. It only surfaces stuff that gets engagements, and things that get engagements are things that you wildly disagree with or that are blatantly wrong, and what idiot could potentially ever agree with them? And those are the things that get surfaced. That in itself warps our discourse away from the things people would normally talk about, which are just like things that they mildly might agree on. Like most discourse was small talk, like, yeah, it is raining outside. Yeah, the sun came up this morning and it was cold. Like that kind of stuff that we all can touch base on. There is no touching base anymore. It's catering to base. And that's what's so terrifying, is that the people in charge of those feeds are essentially looking to make as much money as they can off it, so that they play to the catering to the base aspect more than what they even say when you ask them, and when they've made course corrections in the past, which is it's just about connecting with family, especially with Facebook.
Yeah, on the engagement, he says at one point, they rely on generating engagement, and nothing generates more engagement than lies, fears, and outrage. He says they care more about boosting their share price than protecting democracy, unaccountable to any government, and they are living above the law. So he gets in, we're gonna show you a little bit more of the video in just a second, but understand that if you watch the full speech, which you should, it's 24 minutes long, he talks specifically about Mark Zuckerberg, and he goes through multiple arguments that Mark Zuckerberg has made to evade accountability or reform for Facebook as a great example of this Silicon Six. And he dismantles every one of Mark Zuckerberg's arguments, one after the other. It's just really fascinating. And I want to go on just a little bit more to the effect of social media in spreading propaganda. Here's what he had to say.
Facebook, YouTube, and Google, Twitter, and others, they reach billions of people. The algorithms these platforms depend on deliberately amplify the type of content that keeps users engaged. Stories that appeal to our baser instincts and that trigger outrage and fear. It's why YouTube recommended videos by the conspiracist Alex Jones billions of times. It's why fake news outperforms real news, because studies show that lies spread faster than truth. And it's no surprise that the greatest propaganda machine in history has spread the oldest conspiracy theory in history, the lie that Jews are somehow dangerous.
He goes very in depth into how anti-Semitism has been spread through all of this, and he talks about how Facebook and other places have had to deal with the fact that like Holocaust denial is spread on their platforms, and he says that sometimes the executives say, well, it's just people who disagree about what happened, But Sacha Baron Cohen has a great line. He says, "Those who deny the Holocaust aim to encourage another one." It's never just about a difference of opinion. It's about laying the groundwork for real life action.
He also quotes Voltaire, who said, "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities," which is absolutely true. And that's something that this works to do over time. He says that stuff on Facebook is promoted as news, and Breitbart looks like the New York Times, and it's hard to tell the difference between them. But it is wildly frustrating. And he also basically says that and this is the core tenet of progressivism, which is we need ground rules for this. We just need ground rules. The same way that the Industrial Revolution, we started needing safety standard. We needed safety standards and work labor standards. We need standards for these people who are the publishers and purveyors of all this misinformation.
Yeah, we needed the jungle to get people to realize that these companies are not going to regulate themselves, and you're accidentally eating fingers. Well, maybe when you're on social media, you're accidentally eating bits of rats. Maybe.
Thank you, John.
It's a complicated metaphor. I'm going to work on it. But anyway,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Take a look at the entire speech. It's really good. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.